Sean, which sounds pretty serious. Were any of the other ones season-ending from yesterday?
I can't rule that out yet. So, we're still doing some further tests, getting some more information, but hopeful that none of them are.
With Rashawn and the ACL, just what does that do for your defense, not having him?
Yeah, it's a tremendous loss, and not only just from obviously the production standpoint, just man, he is a guy that just competes at the highest level. He is one of the grittiest guys that's on this team, and just the effort that he brings on a daily basis is definitely going to be missed. And the other guys around on that defense and on our team are going to have to pick it up for him, because it's hard to replace a guy like that. This guy he battles. I mean, you guys all see it. So he's an ultimate competitor.
But are you guys going to shut down Christian with 2 concussions in back-to-back games? Or I guess I don't know if he was officially.
He was not. That was not a concussion. Okay. That was all precautionary, and I think that's just kind of the times that we live in right now, and with what transpired versus Buffalo. But it was 100% ruled that it was not a concussion. He got. As a matter of fact, he was dying to go back in the game, and we thought it was best to shut him down, and because of what transpired in Buffalo, and but to his credit, like he was adamant, and he cleared everything. So I know he took a nice shot in the chest, and he lost his breath for a minute, and it's unfortunate.
From the way Aaron Jones was talking yesterday, it seemed like that might have been a little precautionary too. Do you think he could play this week?
I think there's potential for that. He is another guy that just battles, and you see it every day in practice, and he's been pretty banged up, and but he was trying to get back out there too, and just want to be safe with him.
What was the thinking behind putting Adam back upstairs?
Well, there was a couple factors to that, and if he wants to share that with you, he's more than welcome to.
Matt, we've reached the point in the season where teams that are in the situation that you are in make drastic changes to the coaching staff. Obviously, the Lions fired their defensive pass game coordinator last week. The Colts have made changes. Is there any need to make a change on your staff to jumpstart this thing?
No. We collectively have got to do a better job, starting with myself, and try to put our players in a better position. I thought, all in all, on special teams, I thought we did a pretty decent job. I thought our defense did a really good job as well in terms of getting some key stops, limiting to a team to 15 points. If you hold somebody to 15 points, this is what I told the team, we expect to win that game, bottom line. And unfortunately, we had all those 3 turnovers in the red zone, and that's what happens when you get down there. I mean, we had long, sustained drives offensively. We were moving the ball pretty well. We had 1 punt, and I know we had the 4th down, the turnover on downs. But this game's about points, and when you get those opportunities, you got to maximize and capitalize on them. And unfortunately, we didn't. And not only that, but we turned it over, and it's going to be tough to win games if you're in those situations with those opportunities and come away with no points.
You talk about how you have to do better to put your guys in a position to succeed. Last 3 years, you won 13 games. What are you doing differently this year?
Obviously not putting the guys in the right spots. And so I think collectively, everybody's, we could all do a little bit better. We have to in order for us to win games. It's unfortunate that we're in this situation, but we are. And so, the focus is on making sure we do everything as best as we can each and every day to make sure that our process is right. because I am a big believer that if you're doing all the little things from Monday to Saturday, that's going to translate and lead to a better opportunity to win on Sunday. There's no guarantees, but you know, I think that what's unfortunate is just, you know, thinking back to the last couple of weeks, I feel like there has been more urgency and intentional practice in everything we're doing, and it's not leading to the results we want. So, you know, I challenged everybody to dig a little bit deeper and you know, continue to look at yourself and ask yourself, what can I do better? Because we need that from the collective effort in order for us to make that jump and come out on top. But certainly everybody's extremely frustrated. You know, I know in my time in the league, I've never experienced, I don't think, a 5-game losing streak. So it's been frustrating, but you know, it is what it is.
Now, with that in mind, do you feel like you're having to almost try a new motivational tactic every week, or are you just kind of sticking with the same mindset and message?
Well, I think that you're always looking for ways to improve. So we'll continue to look and try to find a different way. But I think, like I said, the mindset has got to be there from everybody, because we need everybody, especially, you know, you guys just rattled off our injury situation. It doesn't help things. So everybody has to be at their best in order to give us a chance to go out there and compete at the level we want and at a winning level on Sunday.
Matt Stokes looked like he was in particularly bad shape after the game. Is he the one you're most concerned about?
Yes.
Matt, the goal line pass to Bakhtiari, you got a left tackle that's got 3 knee surgeries, hasn't been able to stay on the field, missed most of the second half on the same field that he had to leave and have another knee surgery last year. Why were you comfortable with putting him in that position, and do you feel a little relief that the worst thing that happened was an interception?
Relief?
Just
Explain that to me.
considering the status of his knee and the inconsistent, the fluid nature of his knee, to put him in a position that he is not often in.
Well, we wouldn't have put him in there if we didn't feel good about it and if he didn't feel good about it. So that's a play that we've had up for multiple weeks. And it shows up. It looked like it had an opportunity. I think we got to do a little bit better job up front, making sure that we don't have any pressure in the quarterback's face. And then we just, you know, got to put it out there a little bit further for him.
Should the NFL do something about the turf fields?
Oh, that's out of my league. You know, I think the majority of players, if you polled them around the league, would say they prefer grass. That's a big reason, even when we do play on turf, that we get the majority of our practices outside on the grass. I think it's a little bit easier on their bodies. But, you know, that I'm not an expert on turf and or grass. So.
Is good?
Hey, Matt. Aaron has said a bunch of times over the years that there's 2 offenses, right? There's the offense on paper and the offense as he runs it. In no way am I indicting his play, but he is surrounded by guys that are not of the same experience level as he's been around for the last 3 years. Is there any thought to conversation about maybe running the offense just the way Matt LaFleur draws it up in the playbook? Not because he can't do all the things that he has always done in his career, but because the Samori Tourés of the world just aren't at the point where they know exactly what he wants when they look at what's in front of them. Is that something that you guys could maybe consider and talk about without it being about, you know, he's still a great player, but he's just got a lot of inexperience around him?
Well, there is a lot of inexperience around him, and whether I always get a little bit confused when we talk about this, to be honest with you, because you know, there's a lot of things that happen out there on the field that you need guys to kind of react to in terms of maybe Like, we got a couple looks in the game where I'm like, whoa, I haven't seen those looks before. Some of their cover 2 coverages that they played, and so you need guys to kind of be instinctual, and the best way to do that is to go out there and play and bank those reps. So, you know, I don't really know if I got a good answer for you, other than the fact that, yes, is there going to be some a lot of learning along the way? There's no question. And I think the more that they play with each other, they have, especially a quarterback reading body language of whether it's a receiver, tight end, running back, whoever it may be, you can kind of see and you get a feel for how a guy moves and when he may break. I think there's a lot of things that, you know, obviously collectively around him, we've got to play better, and we've got to try to put our guys through enough situations throughout practice to give us confidence to go out there, and regardless of what we're planning for, a lot of teams will kind of go off script when you got a quarterback of our caliber, and that's just, from my experience here, that's just the way it's transpired over the 4 years. So there's going to be some unscouted looks, and you know, you just, again, you got to try to work through some of this stuff, and I know it's not going to be perfect, but certainly, and I'm not making excuses for anybody. Bottom line, we got to play better, we got to coach better, we got to go out there and execute better. But I think just when you look at specifically yesterday, it's not like we weren't moving the football, but we weren't scoring points. And certainly I think there's a lot of things that we could have done better within the plan when we got down in the red area and we knew exactly what they were going to play us in, and they brought in, whether we were in 11, 12, 13 personnel, we ran them all. They went goal line 6-2. And asking you to throw the football. And so we got to be able to come up with something that works versus those styles of defenses.
So the most likely scenario is I just asked that question poorly, so that's on me. What I'm trying to understand is, like, let's say you were playing Jordan instead of Aaron. He doesn't have nearly the experience. Would you call a game differently, and would you run your offense differently?
Well, I think there's certain things situationally that could occur a little bit differently, but you know, we give, obviously, for a lot of reasons, we give Aaron the liberty to especially situationally, get us in and out of whatever look the defense is presenting. And I have total faith, confidence, trust that he's going to put the guys in the best spot. And, you know, when it doesn't work out, it's easy to second guess everything. And that's just the nature of our business. And, you know, we're a results-oriented business, and when the results aren't going your way, then you have to stand up here and answer a lot of questions, and that's just the way it is. And we got to be better, and we got to get the results. And you know, but I going back to what I talked about earlier, I think, again, if our process is right, and we're putting our guys in the right positions, then we got a much better chance at achieving success.
So within that process, then, how do you, like it happened, I think, with Sammy twice, right? Where Aaron thinks one thing and Sammy thinks another, right? How in your process do you eliminate that if two guys don't necessarily see things the same way on the play? Because that's the difference between a touchdown and an incompletion and losing the game.
Yeah, I think it totally stems back to communication, and we got to make sure that we communicate the right way between everybody, from myself to Aaron to the huddle. But definitely there was a miscommunication on that play, and that's all I can tell you, especially you know, in the red zone. So those are critical situations, and when you have guys that aren't on the same page, and I'm not you know, point and blame at anybody. It's just it's unfortunate that that transpired.
we caught up with Mike McCarthy today. How well do you know Mike as a person, as a coach, and how well did you get to know him through all those cut-ups that I'm sure you had to watch the team that you were taking over?
Yeah, no, I've had a few conversations with Coach McCarthy and certainly got a ton of respect for him. I know I've worked with a lot of guys that worked under him, and they all, have the highest amount of respect for him as a man, as a football coach. Obviously, he's done a lot of great things throughout the course of his career. I haven't spent a bunch of time and sat down and drank a beer with him or anything like that, but hopefully one of these days we'll get an opportunity to do that. I know his family doesn't live too far from me, but he's a guy that I've always held in high regard. Obviously, anytime somebody's able to win a Super Bowl, I think you can never take that for granted. And he did a lot of great things, for the organization, for, I think, the community. And he's a guy that, I have a lot of respect for.
Everybody gets really frustrated when things aren't going their way. You have a great relationship with Aaron. Do you talk to him at least a little bit about maybe, that's as really pissed off as I've seen him on the field. Fox cameras caught him a bunch of times being upset. Is that a conversation you have with him? It's okay to be frustrated, but maybe keep your composure, or do you talk about that at all with him?
Yeah, I haven't seen what you guys are talking about, so that's something that maybe I need to take a peek at. But no, I think that there's a lot of time, effort, energy that goes into this thing, and when you don't get the results you want, it can be extremely frustrating, extremely challenging. And, I think a lot of times you got to, especially I think in whether it's him or any other quarterback in this league, there's going to be, the camera's always going to be on. And so I think, certainly I think we all could handle our emotions better when times are tough. And just try to be, I guess an example for everybody else on our squad to hey man, just let's play the next play and just keep playing until the final whistle blows. Because as much bad that happened in that game, we still had an opportunity at the end of the game to win the game. And that's what I told our squad is we were -2 in the turnover battle, with 3 of those coming in the red zone. We were 0 for 4 in the red zone altogether, and we still had an opportunity. So you just got to compete for 60 minutes. And as hard as it may be, try not to look at the scoreboard. Just keep battling, keep competing, play in, play out, and understand that it's never one play, it's never one person, it's all of us together and stay together. And we've enjoyed a lot of fun times, and unfortunately we've hit some tough times, especially right now. And our resiliency has got to show through. And I know it's not easy. It's easy when you're winning. But when you're not winning, it gets tough, and it can reveal a lot of things. So I think it's just important for our team to stay together and really look inward, everybody accountable to one another and trying to do the best they can. That's all we'll ask of anybody. Just be your best every day, and hopefully those results will turn.